What's up, everybody? This is Review Box. I am your host, Nick.
I'm your other host, Jacob.
Yeah, and welcome to the pod. We review movies, we review TV shows, we review music albums and video games, and just other stuff along the lines of that as well. Today, we are going to be going over A24, The Drama, directed by
Kristoffer Borgli. Norwegian.
Yes. Yeah, with Zendaya and Robert Pattinson.
Batman.
Yeah, Batman.
Don't tell anyone, though.
Such a fire, such two good actors right off the bat, just to say.
Yeah, just like I never would have thought of this combo together, which is amazing. I don't know why I would never think that, but it's just they worked together so well in this movie.
Yeah, they absolutely killed it. For those who haven't seen it, quick rundown is basically a couple is getting ready for their wedding, and how would you explain it? A couple is getting ready for their wedding.
Yeah, fiancés.
They get drunk and discover stuff about each other that they didn't know.
Yeah, the worst moment in a person's life.
Yes, and Zendaya basically has skeletons in her closet that she pulls up that basically launches the entire movie, and that's the entire plot.
And I don't know, we didn't watch too many trailers. At least I didn't. We only saw maybe the one. Or did you see a trailer at all for this movie?
I think I've seen one trailer for it.
But they don't spoil anything. They don't.
No, they don't.
Yeah, do not tell you the big twist, which is good. We'll get into that more, but it's
yeah.
Honestly, when we were kind of going into it, I think we talked about it a bit. It's called The Drama, but we didn't really know what it was going to be. I was, at least for me, I was thinking they're just going to fight about the cake, the DJ, which is also a part of this movie. But
no, I honestly thought it was just going to be a drama. A basic drama. I honestly thought it was a rom-com, to be honest. And I was like, okay, I haven't seen one of those in a long time. But so now what we're going to do, because this is a newer movie, spoilers ahead for the rest of this episode. So if you haven't seen it, please go see the movie. It's such a great movie.
Absolutely.
So here's the big thing. They get drunk. They start talking about what's the worst things they've ever done. And when we get to Zendaya's character, she talks about how she planned a school shooting. And at first, everyone at the table is a little baffled, doesn't say much. Robert Pattinson's character, he's kind of laughing because he's like...
He thinks it's a joke, probably.
Yeah,
it's
and then
she's shocking.
And she's like, no, dead serious. The whole thing. We were going to do the whole thing. And then...
I was going to do that.
No, yeah, my bad. She was like, no, I planned the whole thing and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Rachel. Let's talk about Rachel.
Everyone's favorite character.
I want to make this very clear. Long breath. Long sigh. Nothing against the actor. I want to make this clear. In Review Box, when I say I fucking hate this character, excuse my language, when I say I hate this character, it has nothing to do with the actor.
Yeah,
Well, actually, no, scratch that. It's a compliment to the actor.
Yeah,
because she played such an insufferable person, and credit to her. But oh my gosh, this character Rachel is just insufferable because Zendaya gets drunk and Zendaya's like, you know what? I planned a school shooting.
Well, keep in mind, let's dial back a bit. She didn't it was what Rachel actually started this. She was telling her husband oh, let's tell your dog story. And they're like, wait, what, would you fuck this dog or something?
No, that's what Robert Pattinson says.
That's that was the joke. And he's like, no, I didn't. I guess turns out all he did was he used his girlfriend at the time, his ex-girlfriend, as a meat shield against a crazy dog, so that was the worst thing he's ever done. And then he's like, come on, you got to tell your story. And she's like, no, I don't want to do it. She's all backing out all of a sudden when she's the one that even started this. So then they get to her. And then do you want to tell what she did?
So Rachel has a story where basically when she was younger, there was a mentally disabled kid in her neighborhood. She basically locked him in a closet overnight or an abandoned RV somewhere in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
That was the worst thing she's ever done. And then we go to Robert, and his worst thing that he's ever done is he really couldn't think of what his worst thing was, so he just said that he might have cyberbullied a kid
and then made him move or something.
And they had to move or whatever. this entire time we see Zendaya's character, she's just Emma. We see Emma
Mhm.
drinking and drinking and drinking, and when it gets to her, that's when it's the big reveal.
Yeah, she's just like she's also deaf in one ear. Like you find out in the opening, like Robert Pattinson's trying to flirt with her, and like she just can't hear. Like she has an AirPod in one ear, other ear she's deaf, so she literally cannot hear him. So he thinks he's just flubbing. He's like, oh, and then he thinks everyone's like kind of staring at him, so he walks away, and he tries it one more time, and then she's like, oh no, I'm deaf in this one ear. And then you find out in that during that table scene, she had lied. She's like, or he's like, I thought you, because okay, so basically you find out why she's deaf. She's deaf because she was planning the school shooting. She borrowed her father's rifle, was practicing with it, and then just blew out her ear so bad it was bleeding, and she went deaf. And then Robert Pattinson's like, I thought it was you had it since birth.
Yeah, he's like, I thought you were born with it.
Yeah, and she's like, no, I got it because I was practicing and I blew out my ear. So he's just like, keep in mind, Robert Pattinson's character is also British, so he lives in obviously England or something. So it's like school shootings are much more normalized in America. I know, so it's like he's just having complete culture shock. He's like,
100%.
wait, what? And that kind of goes out through the movie, and it's like, for him, I feel for him because it's like imagining you're finding out your fiance, used to shoot dogs or something, just like or like just something
Wait,
completely.
hold up, whoa. That's like
Well, something like horrible, like just something okay, like she planned it, she didn't really do it, but like just something like
yes,
you would never consider the love of your life ever doing. So
100%. Yeah. So a big thing in this movie is that he's writing his speech that he's gonna give to her, and basically in the speech he talks about how you're the kindest, the nicest person. I don't think
your empathy,
and this and that, and that whole like he has this whole imagery of like her planning the school shooting. And, like, he doesn't know what to write, so he goes ahead and deletes that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to kind of, like, dive into Emma's character, like, I did say this to Jacob when we were watching it, and I was like, honestly, I kind of get where she's coming from.
I had to, like, scoot away from you. I'm like,
away from me.
I was like,
and I was like, oh, my gosh. Like, school shootings is a very serious thing. It's a very sad thing. But it's
it never happened.
As sad as this sounds. Like, I'm not saying it's a part of American culture, but that's what Robert's character says because he's from England, and then he's trying everything he can to justify it, to be like, okay, Emma's not that person. She's not going to hurt anybody. And just to kind of circle back to Rachel. So when Zendaya says that, when she's like, hey, or I'm sorry, when Emma says, hey, like, I planned a school shooting, Rachel jumps off the deep end right off the bat, and she's like, my cousin is disabled from a school shooting. Like, how could you? Like Emma's a like she's
but
a
Emma
monster.
Doesn't she say, like, I didn't know that? No, I never knew that about you.
No, she doesn't. Yeah.
So it's like, how would, like, she gets, like you said, she gets flies off the handle. Like, it's like, you could tell she has it's justifiable anger. I understand, your loved one was permanently disabled for life because of a horrible tragedy like that. But I feel like she's obviously mad at the person who did that to her cousin, and she's just taking it all out of Emma, who, again, did plan something horrible, but she didn't go through with it. So the movie just makes it's very, like, it's morally complex in that way. Like, is someone a bad person for having these really dark thoughts? And they do a good job of making you understand why Zendaya's character, like, kind of thought that. Like, she was a very lonely kid. She had no friends. She was getting bullied. I'm sure obviously, I'm sure right now in a lot of people's past, they've gone through similar circumstances. And obviously, not everyone thinks of doing such a horrible thing. They, again, bring that up in the movie. But it's like, I guess it comes off as hypocritical coming from Rachel. Because, again, Robert Pattinson kind of throws it back at her later on in the movie. Like, you're a hypocrite. Like, you did something horrible. Like, you locked a poor kid in a closet and you didn't say anything. You lied to the parents. You lied to your parents. You said you didn't know where he was. And for all you know, he could have died. But she's like, oh no, they found him. But it's like, then she tries to justify it herself. Like, what I did was on impulse. What she did, she purposely planned a cold-blooded murder of, like, her peers. Yes. I'm like, yeah, okay, you're right. But at the same time, you still did what you did. Like, you still did a horrible, because imagine, again, kid was never found, probably would have starved to death.
No, yeah, he would have died. And, like, that would have been on her conscience, because I highly doubt she's going to come up and be like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Because I watched a YouTuber, an Instagram reel. There were, like, a bunch of these popping up in my feed. And one of them was, like, I think, like, notice, like, you rewatch the scene, like, she kind of, so she's telling the story, says she locks him up, and then she runs away. And I think Robert Pattinson starts giving her shit over it. Like, there's like, oh my God, how could you do something so horrible? And that's when she kind of backpedals. She's like, oh, no, no. I mean, they ended up fighting him, like, even after she said she lied to the dad who was trying to look for his son. And, like, she's like, no, no, they eventually found him. But, like, no other, like, details are given. Like, she could be lying. Like, no one, she was never you think the cops would have gotten involved because they said there was a search for this poor kid. And they eventually found him. But it's like, it was an interesting theory that, the kid could have died. And she's just trying to lie about it. So
I feel like the movie basically begs the question, kind of what you said earlier, is, are you a bad person because you have bad thoughts and you don't act on them?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I get it. I think we've all had those moments, you're driving, whatever, someone cuts you off. You're like, oh, I hate that person. Like, I wish this, and that.
Yeah.
But obviously, you're not going to go ahead and do that. Now, I feel like where Emma basically is on the line is, again, spoilers, she plans a mass shooting in the sense of, like, she gets into the culture of it. The aesthetic of it is what I think I should say. And, she has the gun. She's learning how to shoot. She has, like, a list of who she doesn't like. Like, she's very right there on the edge about to do a school shooting.
She even has, like, a manifesto, too.
Yeah, and she has a manifesto and everything, recordings and everything. Literally, her fiance says, well, why didn't you do it? And her response is, because when the week leading up to it, someone else did a mass shooting at the mall. And then she saw the effect that it had on the community. But then, like, not that, like, okay, it had the effect on her and the community, right? And that shifted her into, like, oh, I'm not going to do the mass shooting. But I want to go into, like, how she even goes a step further, and then she becomes, like, an activist against gun violence. And then, like, she changes her whole, like, demeanor and her whole thing. And given, like, this person had, like, struggled with depression, she was getting bullied, like, I'm not saying she has the right to do a mass shooting. That is not what I'm saying. But she has the justification of being this upset. But obviously there's, like, a different way where you can convey your emotions that doesn't lead into that.
Yes.
But that's what made the movie so good, because it's, like, it's unfortunately so relevant to America.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's what, like, just that alone, like, the way they marketed the movie without spoiling any of that just made the movie 100 times better.
Yeah, I mean, I can vividly remember the audible gasps people had of, like, just of, like, when, like, that got revealed at the table, like, like, I planned a school shooting, like, everyone was like, the whole movie just shifted from that point. Like, it was just, like, crazy. Like, everyone was just, like, a complete, like, shock. Like, wait, what? Like, because, like, you think she would say, like, I cheated on somebody, or, like, something else really horrible, but, like, just saying you planned a school shooting.
I hit somebody's car in the parking lot and didn't say anything.
Yeah, it's like, but, like, something like that's just, like, completely, like, crazy. But, the movie does a good job of, again, getting you to understand why she kind of came to this viewpoint. And it has some, like, darkly comedic moments. Like, again, we're talking about the manifesto. She's recording herself, and she keeps trying to record herself in the... Like, she keeps fucking up the webcam. The computer has to update all of a sudden, so she's, like, having to keep redoing it.
Yeah.
So the movie does a good job of, like, doing those little subtle comedy moments. But, I want to jump into, like, I guess I also want to talk about Rachel's husband, I guess, Mike.
Yeah. What about him?
Like, it's just like I told you, like, he's like the subtle villain of the movie. Like, I like he's like what did I say? He's the best man to Robert Pattinson's character. He's the best. What did I say? He's the best best man, or the worst best man, or something like that. Because it's like, I guess do you want to fast forward to, like, the end, towards the end?
No. Yeah. So real quick, guys, with Review Box, we're gonna give, like, a synopsis kind of the movie, and we're not gonna give a total breakdown of every single scene. I feel like you still need to go watch the movie to see that part. We're just gonna kind of go over the scenes that we like the most, or what the message of the movie and like how it made you feel, and things you liked, things you disliked. That's pretty much it. It's not going to be a full summary of the movie. That's what we're going to try to avoid. But no, yeah, go straight to it.
All right. I guess before we do that, because I guess since we're going to talk about the message of the movie too, it's like, I think we mentioned the DJ too.
Yeah.
Earlier in the movie, they saw like they saw their DJ like smoking heroin, what they thought was heroin on the
No, their
street.
DJ was smoking heroin in the street,
Okay, so like
and they couldn't believe what they were seeing.
but like it's funny during that scene during like they're at the table drinking and stuff like how it was Zendaya's character that was defending like her. You don't understand why yet until she gets to the school shooting part. But she's like, oh, maybe we just caught her on a bad day. Like we don't know what's going on in her life. And again, it ties into the message of the movie. Like, are you a bad person because you do these bad things or you think bad things? It's like, anyways. So like, fast forward, towards the end, there's one other thing. Like Robert Pattinson does. Would you consider it cheating? What he does? Like what happens was he has a coworker.
100%.
He's like he's eating lunch with his coworker, his female coworker, and he's like, like what if your boyfriend planned a school shooting? How would you react? And she's like, oh, I would call the cops on him. I would get him arrested. And he's just constantly just trying to defend without saying who it is, like without saying it's his fiance who planned a school shooting.
Yeah.
He's just constantly trying to defend her. And then he eventually just kind of cracks and runs out. And then the coworker goes to go check on him. Like he starts breaking down, crying because he's just so stressed out. And then he starts making out with her. Like it just comes out of nowhere. I remember everyone in the theater were like, oh my God, what are you doing, bro? Like he's just completely just fucking up right now. And then they're about to have sex, but he stops himself at the last minute. But I want to ask you, do you consider that? Do you consider that cheating or
yes.
Okay?
Yes, that's cheating because not like it's the fact that he made right when he made out with her, that was cheating right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically, he was gonna have sex with her. And he stopped himself, and it's like. And you had said this, you're like, well, there you go. Like now he has his worst thing that he's ever done.
Yeah.
And is cheated on his fiance maybe I think 2 days before the wedding.
Yeah.
And by the way, this coworker was invited to the wedding.
Yep. And then also the boyfriend too, which we later meet. But then we get to the wedding.
Buff boyfriend.
Wow, God, that guy's crazy too. We get to the wedding then, and then so we're so we get to the wedding. Robert Pattinson has cheated on his girlfriend or fiance. Zendaya has just admitted to a school shooting. And then for some reason, Mike. So we're going to get back to Mike now. So Rachel's husband.
Yeah.
For some reason, they managed to convince Rachel to come, even though she was vehemently against it. She had to talk to her cousin, get her okay to go to the wedding, which I just feel bad for this poor cousin. Like, why are you bringing her into this mix? Like, I get it. Like, whatever. So she's the maid of honor because I guess Zendaya doesn't really have any friends. And then they're all you have your speeches and stuff. So Mike's kind of come on, you're gonna say your speech. He's like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Don't make me do it. And in my head, I'm like, don't fucking make her do it, bro. You can clearly tell she's very hostile towards Zendaya. She doesn't want to be here. Do you really think this is gonna go well? But he just keeps trying to move it, go stick with the plan of the wedding. But it's like, bro, read the room.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah. He had no social cues whatsoever.
I don't know, bro. So it's like she gets up. Rachel, fucking everyone's favorite character, gets up, gives her fucking speech. What is Robert Pattinson's character name again? George?
No, it's not George. I couldn't think of his character name, which is so bad.
Either way, so he'll look it up right now. But Robert Pattinson,
his name is Charlie. Ironically,
Charlie. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Charlie and Emma, how they deserve each other. It's how since somehow Charlie can forgive her for this. In her eyes, it's egregious. But she's like, I can't believe, I was surprised when Emma, asked me to be her maid of honor. It's like, don't you, I was like, Emma, don't you have any friends? She very
emphasized that.
And I'm just like, bro, she was very vulnerable with you at this dinner. What she planned was a horrible thing. No one can deny that. But it's like, she didn't want to say it. You kind of drug it out of her, and then you're condemning her for, doing something so horrible or, thinking about doing something horrible. It's like have some empathy, there's no amount of empathy or sympathy coming for her. No, trying to understand why someone could want to do something so horrible. You have to go down, you have to have some really dark thoughts, and you have to anyways. So that just no empathy from her.
100%.
So,
yeah. With that, we're gonna go ahead and move into the numbers real quick. The movie, I mean, at this point in time, it's still out. It released in the United States April 3rd. It has a budget of $28 million, made $43 million in the box office.
Okay.
So it hasn't, because you have
You have to like double it, right?
Yeah, but that's where it is on the numbers. But I just kind of wanted to ask you, like, what was one of your favorite scenes in that movie?
I think the ending. I think the ending. Well, obviously, everyone would probably pick that one scene, like when she reveals she did a school shooting. But probably the ending was my favorite because there's an earlier part in the movie where like Emma is like trying like it's Emma and Charlie. They're on a couch. She's trying to pretend like Charlie's clearly struggling with this revelation. He's on the couch. Like they tried having sex earlier and it failed. And he's just on the couch and she's like, oh, like just pretending like they first met. Like, oh, like, do you come here often? And he tries playing along with it, but he's just like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. And then it ties into the end of the movie where like he gets headbutted by Charlie. I guess like the wedding is a disaster. Spoiler.
100%.
The wedding is a disaster. Like
100%.
He gets revealed that he cheated on his fiance. Emma finds out in the worst way possible. The boyfriend hears. He goes up to like Charlie and he's like, "Did you sexually assault Misha?"
Oh yeah. He's like, "Did you sexually harass my girl?" And he's
he's
"What?"
Like, well,
he's like, "I didn't sexually harass." And then gets headbutt.
Okay, I thought he was like, well, actually, and then like I thought he said something else, and then he was trying to defend himself a little bit, and then that's when he got headbutted.
Oh,
but maybe
goodness.
I'm wrong. But anyways, he gets headbutted, so he's all bloody. Earlier in the film too, like Emma talked about like oh, I want to go back to the diner. Like I forget what the diner's called, but like they had one of their first dates there or something like that. She wants to go back at the end of the wedding, and Charlie's against it. He's like, we're gonna be all decked out in like nice clothes. Why would we want to do that? Anyways, like he goes over there. He's going there hoping to find her. He doesn't. So he's kind of just sitting down all depressed, orders some food, and then he sees Emma walk by. She comes in, like he's all looking at her, like hoping she'll notice him. She ignores him, goes to the counter, orders some stuff, and he's just like in his head, he's probably like, this is over, like I fucked up, like she's never going to want to see me again. But then she comes around, sits down across from him, and she says, "Do you come here often?" And he's just completely shocked. He's like, "Oh, what?" And she's like, "Oh, like," continues like the role play they were doing earlier in the movie, and I'm just like, oh, thank God. I'm just like, I would have understood if it ended like that. She just like had nothing to do with this guy anymore, and kind of just walked out. I'd have been like, okay, that's understandable. But I just like how these two, troubled people found their person, managed to kind of oversee or overlook, their flaws and the horrible things they did and almost did, and just moved on and started with a fresh, clean slate. And I like that. So it's like, I know maybe you could say it's sappy. I wouldn't. I think it's still pretty, down and dirty. Like the movie is really, really good. Highly recommend people go see it. But that was my favorite part.
I would, I agree. That is like, honestly, that's like probably my top 3 favorite parts of the movie, the diner scene. What's funny is that some people were saying that like Charlie only played along once he made a mistake and was basically kind of had that opportunity to start over as well.
Well, he lost the moral high ground.
Well, no, because he cheated.
He did. So
so like then obvious before he cheated, he didn't want to do the start over thing. Like, I don't know, if you maybe, like, if you look at it too much, like, you'll probably get lost in it. But
no, I completely get that.
What I mean is, like, like, oh, wow, like, he's a bad person because, like, he didn't really give Emma that fresh start when she, like, basically was begging to just, like, please don't look at me that way. Like, let's move past it. But it wasn't until he had messed up where then he was like, oh, yeah, like, we could start fresh. I don't know. That's something to think about and something to look at.
No, I mean, that's part of the greatness of this movie. Like, it's just that kind of complexity. Like, is he being selfish? Yeah, you could say he's being selfish, but that's to be human. Humans are selfish kind of creatures. Intrinsically, it's kind of just built in our nature, but we have to kind of overcome that. But I do agree you could definitely take that as an interpretation. I could definitely see it, but, I think you could argue that he sees now, like, how people can, like, kind of err and do horrible stuff. So it's like he loses that moral high ground and he kind of he has a new viewpoint now. It's like, oh my God, like,
Unless you're Rachel.
Unless you're Rachel.
Unless you're Rachel, then, you do one bad thing, you're the worst person in the world.
Yeah, so again, she's just a huge hypocrite, but I get that's, you just have those people in your life, they just are people you'll find in your life that just like kind of just don't give you any leeway. They just like
Yeah, like
there's black and white. I guess
Yeah.
it's just black and white.
my favorite part of the drama has to be Charlie's speech when he finally gives us the speech that we've been waiting for the entire movie.
Okay, go on
His,
to that part.
his character has been working on this speech the entire movie. Obviously, he's thrown off by the revelation of his fiance planned an entire mass shooting. Didn't go through with it, but was very close. And how that affected him so much. And he tried to cope with it by justifying it and everything. And we finally get to it. And then, the secret villain of the movie, Mike, who still says, hey, it kind of looks like everything's going wrong. You should still give your speech.
Speech.
So you think, obviously a speech at a wedding, it's supposed to be beautiful, heartwarming. This is just the worst speech imaginable. Literally, he's just rambling, trying to put it together. He's saying you're sweet, you're saying nice, and then he's just like, oh, and the sex is amazing right in front of her
the
dad.
parents.
And then he's like, oh my gosh, and he's like, and then all that stuff, like we can look past it, and then
brings up the laugh to her ugly laugh.
yeah, and he's like, yeah, your laugh, it's like it's so ugly, like repulsive, and then he's like, wait,
but it's cute.
yeah, no, but it's cute, and then he's just like, and then the best part, and he's like, and then like, what's her name, Misha?
Misha, yeah,
Misha, and he's like, and he's like, and that stuff with Misha didn't even mean anything. You think I'm gonna cheat on you with Misha of all people?
Yeah, and that's when the boyfriend finds out.
Like disregards Misha like under and everything, and obviously it just absolutely falls apart. It derails, and it. Like, what I loved is, like, when a movie makes you feel, I think it does its job, whether it's positive or negative. And literally in that moment, I was in my seat, and I was like, dude, shut up.
Cringe.
Like stop talking, dude. Like, please stop talking. And then...
It's like that Jonah Hill gif, like...
Yeah, just please stop. And then, so... That was by far, like, my favorite part of the movie. I think that stands out to me.
Oh, definitely.
The diners, obviously, I think that's a beautiful ending. I love that. I mean, love. So let's move on to, let's wrap it up with let's move on to the ratings. What do you give the drama? Full statement.
I would give the drama, God, I'm torn between because I don't like to give halves, but, I'm torn between like an 8. It's between an 8 and a 9 because like I was completely blown away because again had no expectations and I thought it was gonna be a rom-com.
The marketing was amazing.
Thought it was just gonna be like a rom-com with some drama mixed in. So the marketing, yes, definitely amazing. I'm gonna give it. You know what? Whatever. I'm gonna give it 8.5. 8.5 out of 10.
Nice. I would say it's the first episode, and I'm not doing this just because it's the first episode of the reboot. But I would also give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay, we're in agreement.
I think it was absolutely amazing. It was a great time. It's a movie that I would say, hey, I recommend you go see it. And me personally, I'm gonna go see it a second time soon. So,
oh yeah, I'm down.
Like,
you want to go?
Yeah, exactly. Like it was that good. I was like, wow, didn't expect that.
Bump those numbers up too. Like it definitely deserves more than what it. Given it earlier.
Honestly, go see it. And then any final thoughts on the movie?
Final thoughts. I think, yes, it's a good, again, it posits a really interesting question. Again, are you a bad person because you've had bad thoughts in your head? I guess I'll bring up the scene where he's kind of going, Charlie goes to go visit Rachel and Mike at, I think it was Rachel's work. And, he's talking about, American culture. He's talking about, how many times, gun shootings run rapid in your culture. Like, it's a normal thing to you guys. But how many people have planned a school shooting that you don't know of? It was in their heads. They thought about it. Maybe they even planned it. But you'll never know because they don't say that. Because why would they say that? So it's like, it's true. Like, how many dark thoughts have we ever had in our head? Like you said, someone cuts you off in traffic, start cursing your lungs out, and like, I'm going to run you off the road or something like that. Just something horrible. But you don't do it. You're a bad person because you said that. You thought that. It's a difficult answer. Everyone, I'm sure, has their own. Obviously, Rachel thinks, yes, you're a bad person.
Yeah, Rachel thinks you should go to hell.
Go to hell and you die. But it's like, for me, we're human. We have bouts of intense emotion. I think if you don't act on what you say, obviously it differs, different contexts,
Yeah, I was like,
different things. Not everything is painted with the same brush.
Yeah.
But in that case, someone cuts you off in traffic, you want to run them off the road, but you don't do it. I don't think you're a bad person. Like, it's just, again, just intense emotion that kind of comes out at you. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I agree with you. I think that's a beautiful way to close it. I'm just going to leave it with your final thoughts. I thought the movie was amazing. Go ahead and see it. That's all I got to say. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Go see the drama. Absolutely amazing. This has been Review Box, and we will see you on the next one.
Until we meet again.